It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, you're watching Sports This Week and I am Gursshheen Gahllen. Let's take a look at what made headlines over the past 7 days. First up, the mega US Open final. But more than Carlos Alcaraz's win, the spotlight was on US President Donald Trump. His presence delayed the match. His entry was met with a mix of boos and cheers. Is Trump turning into a nuisance for sports lovers? Over in cricket, for the first time ever, the India vs Pakistan Asia Cup clash has failed to create the usual electric buzz. Ticket sales were sluggish. Is this because of political tensions after Pahalgam? Or has the magic of the rivalry finally faded? The tournament itself began with a controversy. India captain Suryakumar Yadav was slammed for shaking hands with Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha and PCB chief Mohsin Naqvi. A simple gesture of sportsmanship or a diplomatic misstep? Should Surya really be blamed? Staying with cricket, Gayle has shocked the franchise world. He claimed Punjab was responsible for his early IPL exit and revealed he was battling depression. And finally, FIFA is under fire again. Their controversial dynamic ticket pricing has fans fuming. Is FIFA making the world's game accessible only to the elite? All that right here on Sports This Week. Now let's move on to our next report. Donald Trump's relationship with sports is starting to look like Newton's third law in action. For every ounce of love he shows to the sporting world, there's an equal and opposite backlash waiting for him. From the Super Bowl to the FIFA Club World Cup, every sporting appearance has stirred reactions. And this time at the US Open final, no different. Boos, cheers, divided opinions. The president walked into a stadium and the stadium erupted. But the big question is this just about tennis? Or is it a mirror of America's deep political divide? The final itself was blockbuster. Carlos Alcaraz versus the world number 1 Yannick Sinner. Tennis at its absolute best. And in the end, Alcaraz stomped past to win 6-2, 3-6, 6-1, 6-4. That should have been the headline. But instead, the spotlight shifted. Because for the first time since Bill Clinton back in 2000, a sitting US president turned up at Flushing Meadows. And Trump's big return met with boos echoing across the Billie Jean King National Center. So why the hostile reception? For starters, Trump's presence meant lockdown-level security. Fans were stuck in queues, extra screenings slowed down entry, and the match itself got delayed by 30 minutes. And while security checks are common when VVIPs show up, this time fans weren't amused. Because for them, the focus wasn't on the game anymore. It was on the politics walking into the building. And that's the other piece. Trump wasn't just any other guest in the stands. He is the President of the United States. And when your country is hosting one of tennis's biggest stages, neutrality is expected. But his reactions didn't show neutral behavior at all. This was Trump's reaction after Alcaraz beat Sinner. Instead of clapping neutrally, the reaction showed a hint of bias. Muted reactions, visible preferences, sparking debate online. And remember, before the final, Alcaraz himself was excited to hear Trump would be attending.
It's a privilege for the tournaments having the president from every country just to support the tournament, to support tennis, and to support the match.
Support the tournament, support tennis. That's all Alcaraz wanted. But clearly, Trump was there to support. Well, maybe Trump himself. And this is where it comes full circle. Sports is supposed to be a neutral ground, a space where politics takes a back seat and the game takes center stage. But what we saw at the US Open final was the opposite. Politics entered the stadium and sport was forced to share the spotlight. So instead of remembering Alcaraz's 6th Grand Slam, this final may be remembered for Trump being booed. When the biggest talking point of a Grand Slam final isn't the champion, but the president getting booed, it says more about the political fault lines in America than it does about tennis. After all the chaos, after the boycott calls, and after the political tensions, the India versus Pakistan clash is finally happening. The fixture is less than a week away, but the buzz nowhere close to what we are used to. The ticket sales for this so-called blockbuster encounter are crawling. And the big question is the high-voltage clash losing its touch due to political tensions. The backdrop to this is as political as it gets, even since the Pahalgam terror attack. Sporting and cultural ties between the two nations have been hanging by a thread. India imposed massive restrictions and every industry followed the suit, be it sports or entertainment. Cricket too joined hands. Former India cricketers boycotted Pakistan in the World Championship of Legends. And yet, here we are. The Asia Cup clash is going ahead on the 14th of September. The cricket fraternity, fans, even sections of Indian society are not happy at all. But the BCCI is standing its ground.
The central government has taken into consideration of all the factors, including the interests of the federation as well as the players' concerns. A tournament which has multinational facet and the team doesn't participate, there may be sanctions against a particular federation.
So while BCCI makes its case, fans have already given their verdict. The India-Pakistan ticket sales are moving slower than anyone could have imagined. A sight never seen before in world cricket. Because when these two sides meet, it's normally a frenzy. Stadiums sell out in hours, prices skyrocket, fans camp online to grab those tickets. But not this time. Why? There are two big reasons. Reason number one, the ACC's ticketing model. Instead of single blockbuster ticket, fans are being pushed into a bundle package. A package covering 3 Group A matches. This includes India's match against Pakistan, price of that around $129. Fans say it's too much, unnecessary and even unfair. But here's the reality check. It isn't too much. Had the buzz remained the same, in fact, it's cheaper than what India versus Pakistan tickets usually sell for. Let's rewind just 7 months ago. Same venue, same clash, Dubai. Yes, the cheapest ticket then was higher than this current bundle, and the most expensive over $3,000. Guess what? Those tickets were gone in less than an hour. Now fast forward to today. For the Asia Cup, the bundle has been sitting on sale. Still, there are no buyers. That tells you everything. If the fans really wanted to watch India versus Pakistan, a bundle wouldn't stop them. Price wouldn't restrict them. Which brings us to reason number 2, the actual reason, sentiment. The anger and the mood among fans is different this time. They don't want to celebrate cricketing ties with Pakistan when terror attacks remain unsolved. The message is clear. This isn't about money, this is about principle. Because no matter how much the promotion, how loud the hype, the fans don't want to watch. They are voting with their wallets. And this is a warning sign. not just for BCCI but for every federation pushing India-Pakistan as the biggest rivalry in sport. That rivalry may have been true in the past, but unless the political climate changes and unless terror concerns are addressed, the rivalry will never be the same again. Sure, the BCCI can justify it as protecting players, avoiding sanctions, maintaining global commitments. But fans have made their stand. For them, this isn't sport as usual. And maybe that's the biggest reality check for all. The battle for Asia kicked off even before a single ball was bowled. And no, it wasn't a six, a wicket or even a toss. It was a handshake row involving none other than the captains of India and Pakistan. India's skipper Suryakumar Yadav is suddenly in the line of fire. And the big question, could this entire controversy have been avoided? 8 captains, 1 stage, 1 press conference, but the spotlight as always was only on India and Pakistan. Because when the biggest rivals of world cricket share space, every move is scrutinized. India ranked Asia's #1 side, Pakistan the so-called second. But let's not poke that wound too early, right? Because naturally, every question, every camera zoomed in on them. And the drama unfolded not during the presser, but after it. As soon as briefing ended, Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha walked off. No handshake, no greeting, just a straight exit. Meanwhile, Sky went about doing what captains usually do. Shaking hands with the others, hugging Rashid Khan, exchanging smiles. It was a deja vu, a reply of the SEO summit. An Indian leader at the center of attention, a Pakistani one fading in the backdrop. And then realization struck Ali Agha. The optics were terrible, so he stood waiting awkwardly on the sidelines until the customary handshake finally happened. That moment lit the fuse. Fans erupted, questioning why did Sky need to shake hands with Pakistan's captain. But local journalists clarified it was exactly what it looked like, a fleeting formal courtesy. But the drama wasn't done. Another clip started trending. Sky exchanging pleasantries with Pakistan's Interior Minister and PCB Chief Mohsin Naqvi. Clearly, the outrage grew louder. How could India's captain be seen with Pakistan's political face in cricket? But here's the problem though. Mohsin Naqvi is not just a Pakistani politician. He's also the chairman of the Asian Cricket Council, the very body hosting this tournament. Can the captain of India snub the chief of the organizing committee in full public view? That too, when BCCI has already cleared the team's participation. The truth is simple. If India is here to play, the players cannot operate in isolation. They are bound by protocol. Let's also not forget the Pakistan captain himself approached Sky. Surya didn't go looking for him. He just took the high road, shook hands and moved on. So why drag cricketers into firestorms they never asked for? Because here's the reality. The India-Pakistan clash is happening on September 14th. The two captains will meet anyway, not on a stage, but on the battlefield. That's where Sky and his men will deliver their reply. Not with handshakes, but with boundaries, yorkers and wickets. So let's be clear. The press conference handshake wasn't a scandal. It was a mere courtesy. The real fireworks will be at the Asia Cup clash, where India's captain and his team will let their cricket do the talking.
Christopher Henry Gayle has sent shockwaves through the cricket world. The universe boss has opened up on his bitter stint with Punjab in the IPL. And his words, they cut very deep. Gayle has accused the Punjab franchise of sheer disrespect and says their treatment towards him pushed him towards depression. Which now raises the big question, was Punjab's toxic culture the real reason behind his retirement? And more importantly, is toxicity hurting cricket's biggest names? Ever since its launch in 2008, the IPL has been cricket's biggest blockbuster. It sets trends, breaks barriers and generates a lot of buzz, like no other. But in the mad chase for titles and trophies, has the joy of the game itself been sacrificed? Chris Gayle's statement certainly hints at it.
My IPL ended prematurely, with Punjab. I was disrespected. I felt like I wasn't being treated properly for a senior guy done so much for the league. That's the first time in my life I ever felt like a depression mood.
When the man who made cricket entertaining across the globe says this, it speaks volumes about what went wrong behind the scenes. This is a cricketer who defined the IPL brand. From his debut with Kolkata in 2009 to his 7 magical, crowd-pulling years with Bengaluru, Chris Gayle wasn't just hitting sixes, he was building the league's global identity. And yet, his final 3 years with Punjab changed everything. Now yes, it's understandable because Punjab has never won an IPL trophy, the desperation was sky high, but was crushing their own players really the solution?
I literally broke down when I was talking to him because I was really hurt. I cried and I was disappointed with Anil and how the entire thing was actually run.
So just think about this. Gayle isn't someone who abandons teams. The proof, during the Bengaluru versus Punjab final earlier this year, he was there cheering both sides, smiling in a turban and still carrying Punjab's colours with a lot of pride. You just saw him there having a lot of fun in the final. So for Gayle to walk out mid-season in 2021, you can only imagine how toxic it must have been. And Gayle isn't the only one. Remember last year, KL Rahul was at Lucknow. The public humiliation by franchise owner Sanjeev Goenka was there for the whole world to see. Fallout of that was so bad that Rahul's international form dipped as well. Yes, he fulfilled his contract, but the second the season ended, he left.
I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to explore my options and I wanted to go and play where I could find some freedom, where the team atmosphere could be something lighter.
Notice the choice of words that he used there. Freedom, lighter. That's not talking about cricketing technique, that's about survival in a workplace. And then Rahul reportedly refused captaincy offers both for Delhi and Team India. Why? Because the scars of the toxic team culture were too deep. And it did not end there. Even Rishabh Pant faced a similar episode under the same Lucknow franchise owner earlier this year. This is becoming a pattern, and it's a very dangerous one. Yes, every franchise wants to win. Yes, it's big business. Yes, the stakes are sky high. But aren't they forgetting what the IPL was meant to be? It was built as a breeding ground for youngsters, a theatre for the stars, and above all, a celebration of cricket. Pressure is natural, stakes are natural, but when owners and when the management forget the human side of sport, the game suffers. For Chris Gayle, it ended his IPL career prematurely. Who knows, the universe boss would have still dazzled the IPL had it not been for Punjab. For KL Rahul, it forced him to chase freedom over leadership. For Rishabh Pant, it's a weight he still carries with a $3 million price tag. So here's the big picture. When even legends like Chris Gayle admit that they were broken down by toxic team culture, it's no longer a dressing room issue. It's a disease spreading across the franchises. Because in the end, you can replace players, you can buy captains, you can chase trophies, but if the franchise culture itself is broken, no matter how many sixes you hit, how many crores you spend, you'll always be chasing shadows. And as Gayle's words prove, the universe boss may have left Punjab, but Punjab left a scar that cricket cannot ignore.
FIFA is once again in the headlines. And not for footballing brilliance, but for a money grab. The governing body that should set the gold standards is instead doing everything it shouldn't. The biggest acquisition, prioritizing profit over people. Raising one brutal question. Is FIFA turning into the world's game into a playground for only the elite? The 2026 Men's World Cup was meant to be history-making. 48 teams, 3 host nations and a mega push into the American market. But FIFA seems determined to crush the dream before the ball is even kicked. Ticket sales are technically underway. And just like a pop concert, FIFA has started a pre-sale lottery for certain card holders. But that's not the scandal. The real problem? It's the dynamic pricing. FIFA has announced that the cheapest tickets will quote-unquote start at $60. The most expensive, for the final, are jaw-dropping $6,700. But here's the catch. Conditions apply. Dynamic pricing means that if demand soars, your $60 ticket can suddenly jump to $200 or more. And there's no cap or resale either. So anyone who manages to buy early can flip the ticket for whatever price they want. That's not just expensive, that's extortion wearing a FIFA badge. And fans aren't taking it lightly. New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani has called out FIFA, launching a petition against this shameless money-first policy.
I have long been quite troubled by how the supposed stewards of the game have opted for profit time and time again at the expense of the people that love this game.
And FIFA, their defense is even worse than the policy. They claim they are simply aligning with the market practice. Translation: everyone else is doing it, so why not us? But here's the thing, football isn't everyone else. Football isn't Coachella. It isn't Beyonce on tour. It's the World Cup, the sport that belongs to every corner of the globe, not just the 1%. Look at history. Dynamic pricing has already sparked fan revolts. Oasis concert in England, the FA Cup final last year. Fans fumed, atmospheres ruined. If it's a music gig, fine, the rich will still fill the seats. But football runs on emotion, not on excess. The terraces aren't built on Wall Street money. They are built on passion. Fans screaming, singing, waving flags, living every second. Dynamic pricing doesn't sell atmosphere. It sells empty seats. Because the fastest people to buy tickets aren't the most passionate. In fact, they are the most desperate for profit.
The people who get the tickets quickest are not the ones who are actually the most eager to be there. They're the ones who are the most excited at the prospect of a profit. This also has a real impact on the potential for the atmosphere of the World Cup.
So even if FIFA manages to sell every single ticket, what happens when resale prices hit the stratosphere? How many go unsold then? How many true fans are left outside the stadium, priced out of their own sport? And if the Dutch drum armies, the English diehards, the Brazilian samba fans and the Argentine ultras don't make it in, will the World Cup even feel like the World Cup? Football wasn't built on elite VIP boxes. It was built in the streets of Buenos Aires, in the favelas of Brazil, on dusty pitches in Africa and backyards in Europe. Maradona came from Villa Florito, a shanty town. Pelé dribbled barefoot on the streets of Sao Paulo. If FIFA's current model existed back then, the world would never have seen a Maradona, never celebrated a Pelé. FIFA calls itself the custodian of the beautiful game. But beauty isn't in the balance sheet. It's in the passion of the fans who make the World Cup what it is. If those fans are locked out, then what's left? A billion-dollar corporate circus without the soul. And FIFA needs to realize this, because football is not built for the few. It was built for the world. If they keep going this way, the only goal FIFA will score in 2026 will be an own goal.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上の
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.